Does anyone here have any idea what all of these images have in common? You're good, you're good. Yes, those images, each one of them weighs the same amount as both my breasts. And so now you're probably all looking at my breasts if you weren't before. And I will say to you, it's okay to look. Now, did you know that breasts are not just something for you to look at? Here's the front view. They feed babies. Now, some of you may be looking at my breasts slightly differently now. Just a moment ago, they may have been objects of sexual desire for some of you. Here's the left side, my good side, or my chocolate side. So complex and fraught and confusing. And I've only just begun. I like to call my breasts blessing and curse. It is really heavy to be carrying around. So it's no wonder when people like to come up to me and say, whoa, your boobs are really big, I get a little grumpy. And the right side. And my now very large breasts defined who I was as a person. The confident teenager was gone forever. The world now looked at me as a sexual object, and in turn, I did too. The stereotypes piled on. If you have big breasts, you're more feminine than women without large breasts. If you have big breasts, you're more fertile. You can easily breastfeed. You're not very smart. You're easy. You like to show them off, obviously. It's really amazing to have the power of seldom having to pay for drinks and getting jobs in television and film because of your rack and unbuttoning a few buttons to get out of a speeding ticket. There's power in that. It's a rush. But sure, saving a few bucks and getting a few jobs because of my breasts was great, but what had I paid in non-monetary terms by accepting myself as a sexual object?
Straight to hell, to the boiler room of hell, all the way down. Sometimes I pull them out just so they think everything is going to be okay, but then I put them right back in.
Good. Good. That makes me happy.
Who am I then if I'm not the woman with the largest breasts in the room? I have an answer. Just stop looking. Stop looking at my breasts. Stop looking at my legs. Just stop. Well, that's not a very feasible situation, is it? We can't stop looking. We're biological creatures. It's in our genes. Now, this is an explanation, not an excuse. Is she blonde? Is she redhead? Is she brunette? Does she have big boobs? Does she have small boobs? Does she have average size boobs? Did she look at you in a flirty way? Is she wearing high heels? Does she have red lipstick on? Is she short? Is she tall? Is she fat? Is she thin? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then no, you can't objectify her. If the answer to any of these questions is yes, you still can't objectify her. And these kids see these images all day long too, and it must be really confusing for them. It's really important to talk to them about this. Be an agent for change in your community and stop staring and start talking. So I'm going to give you one last look. There's no shame in looking at a body. But just know that because I have large breasts does not automatically mean that I am dumb or easy. And because a woman has small breasts does not mean that she can't breastfeed or she's less feminine than a woman with larger breasts. And if a woman is wearing a tight sweater, that does not mean that she's craving attention. And if she's wearing a short skirt, it doesn't mean that she wants to be catcalled. Here's the left side, my good side, or my chocolate side. It is only by changing our behavior that we can make all of this a universally held truth. Thank you.
Drop 'em out, let me see them titties. Gonna take a long look at those tiggle bitties. Areolas looking nice, nipples looking real pretty. Come on, let me get her at your boobs. Drop 'em out, let me see them knockers. Gonna take a long look at those big ham hockers. Just squeeze them together while I play with my cocker. Come on, let me get her at your boobs.